The NFL goes across the pond once more for the Dolphins and the Jaguars. Field Yates and Marcus Spears here to pick this game. Swagoo, the Jaguars are looking for their first win in like forever. Will they get it on Sunday?
No, Phil, they won't. I actually like some of the progression that the Jacksonville Jaguars have been making, but I'm thinking Tua is going to come back with his hair on fire, man, and they'll be able to get this thing in the way they want it to go. Listen, Dan Orlovsky talked about it earlier this week. This is imperative for Tua. These next 12 weeks are going to determine who and how we look at the Miami Dolphins quarterback spot going forward. I think he's going to make a statement in London across the pond, big dog. Huge
opportunity for the Miami Dolphins. We're looking to snap a 4-game losing streak. The Jaguars looking to snap a 20-game losing streak. No one expected the Chiefs to be 2-3. No one expected the Washington football defense to be as bad as it has been. Field Yates and Marcus Spears here to pick this week's six matchup. Swagoo, who you taking in this one?
I'm taking Kansas City, and I like that you pointed out the two units that we thought was going to ball out of their mind and struggling a little bit. But I think Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and Eric Bieniemy gets back on track, and they actually do it using the running backs that they'll have in this game that's available. And then Patrick Mahomes can take advantage of a Washington secondary that's been giving up a large number of explosive plays. I got the Kansas City Chiefs in this one.
With no Clyde Edwards-Helaire, it should be Darrell Williams who steps up in that Chiefs backfield. They look to even the record at 3-3. The Texans and Colts both squandered big leads in Week 5. Now they face off in Week 6. Field Yates and Marcus Spears here to pick this game. Swagoo, who are you taking in this big AFC South matchup?
Field, I'm taking the Colts, but I like what Davis Mills did against the New England Patriots. But I'm going to go with Carson Wentz, who's playing well, which was overshadowed by the performance by Lamar Jackson, as it should have been the way Lamar Jackson played. But Jonathan Taylor seems to have it going, the screen game. But more importantly, Carson Wentz is starting to look comfortable in this Frank Reich offense, and I think they keep going. Should have won the game against the Ravens if it wasn't for a Blankenship missed field goal, but I expect them to get a win against the Houston Texans.
The Colts have learned that football really is a game of inches this season, but nothing better than a win to get them back on track after a 1-4 start. Just 2 teams remain without a win so far this season. One of them is the Detroit Lions, who play the Cincinnati Bengals in Week 6. Field Yates and Marcus Spears here to pick this one. Swagoo, can the Bengals improve to 4-2 this Sunday?
Babyface, after looking at Dan Campbell and how he was emotional about his team not being able to finish games, I almost picked the Detroit Lions. But I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals, man. I think they're a better football team. You're starting to see this young talent gel, the connection between Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, and that backfield with Mixon and P. Ryan has been very successful. Love what they did defensively as well against the Green Bay Packers, generating pressure with Hendricks on the outside. I got the Cincinnati Bengals taking this one.
Man, I feel for Lions fans, usually around 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoons, but the Bengals have been rock solid through 5 games and look to improve on that hot start. The Rams have had extra time to prepare for the Giants in Week 6. The Giants have all sorts of injuries they've been managing during the week. Field Yates and Marcus Spears here to pick this game. Swagoo, can the Rams keep the good times rolling?
Yes, they can, Field. It's an unfortunate circumstance for the New York Giants. They had started to show some offensive prowess in making plays, but the Rams on rest and the way they played the last outing, we saw them with Matt Stafford coming back and his weapons. I got to take the Los Angeles Rams. It is not going to be pretty with Aaron Donald with no Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, the Giants are dealing with all sorts of offensive skill player injuries, but the Rams, they're just really good right now. They look to improve to 5-1 in Week 6. It's the most common matchup in the history of pro football. The Bears and the Packers in Week 6. Field Yates and Marcus Spears here to pick this game. Swagoo, Aaron Rodgers, Justin Fields. Which team are you taking?
I got to take Green Bay, Phil. And listen, I think the Chicago Bears are going to give the Packers all they can handle. But I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers and that connection, obviously, with Devontae. And if they take Devontae away, look for Aaron Jones and Randall Cobb to have an impression on this game with Tonyan, the tight end. I'm taking Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers knows how to beat the Bears, and they've beat them for a long time. Dang, it hurt me to say it.
I tell you what, though, Swagoo, if history has taught us anything, you bet on Aaron Rodgers. The Packers, they may have lost in week 1, but that has become a distant memory with their recent play.
Absolutely.
I'll say it. It's the game of the weekend. The Chargers and the Ravens squaring off, two teams that are 4-1, two teams that have incredible young quarterbacks. Field Yates and the always incredible Marcus Spears here to pick this game. And Swagoo, this might be the toughest one to go with. Who are you taking on Sunday?
It's so hard to bet against Lamar Jackson, Phil, after what we saw him do this past week. But I'm going to take the Los Angeles Chargers. This is a better football team than Baltimore Ravens right now. And those plays that the Indianapolis Colts made, those explosive plays, we've watched Justin Herbert do it all season long. Expect Austin Eckler to have a huge impact on this game, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. And look, Lamar Jackson right now is the best player in football. But Justin Herbert is right there on his heels, and Herbert has more weapons. And not to mention, on the other side of the ball with Derwin James having the ability to either take away Mark Andrews or use him in the box to try to corral Lamar Jackson when he wants to take off. I got the Los Angeles Chargers.
The way they're playing right now, they feel like one of the most complete teams in the NFL. A huge opportunity to showcase that again on Sunday. The Vikings and Panthers square off in Week 6. Field Yates and Marcus Spears here to pick the game. This much we know, Swagoo. Dalvin Cook will be available. Christian McCaffrey will not be. Which team are you taking in this one?
And therein lies your answer, babyface Yates. It's going to be the Minnesota Vikings. I think they have an offensive outing, and I know how good the Carolina Panthers defense has been. They are suffering some injuries. Dallas was able to take advantage. And if you look at Minnesota and what they do and what Dallas was able to do against the Carolina Panthers, I think you'll see some of that same game plan. Thielen, Justin Jefferson on the outside, and obviously having Dalvin Cook takes this offense to another level. I got the Minnesota Vikings.
The Vikings have had a couple of narrow losses so far this season, but a win on Sunday would bring them all the way back to 500. No, we can't wait for this one. It's the Cardinals and the Browns. Field Yates and Marcus Spears here to pick this game. Swagoo, who are you taking in the battle of the former Oklahoma quarterbacks?
This is what makes football so hard, Phil. We just watched the Cleveland Browns give up 47 points on defense, and it all could change. But I'm still taking the Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray is playing out of his mind. And more importantly, the weapons that he has and the ability to deploy them, and just getting Zach Ertz back over on that team as well, who I think is going to work the middle of that field. Cleveland Browns defense, stand up. But this won't be the week, Phil. I got the Arizona Cardinals.
And somehow the Cardinals, the only NFL undefeated team, are still able to play the nobody respects us card. A win on Sunday might turn those tables around, and they may be the undisputed favorite in the NFC. It's been a tumultuous week for the Las Vegas Raiders. They now play the Broncos on Sunday in Denver. Field Yates and Marcus Spears here to pick this Week 6 matchup of two AFC West teams. Marcus, who are you taking?
Phil, I'm glad you mentioned it like that tumultuous week, but I'm telling you, I believe this team will rally with each other, and they'll play well. The Las Vegas Raiders I'm talking about, who I think will win the game behind Derek Carr and Darren Waller and all of their stars and that leadership stepping up and kind of galvanizing each other based on all of the things that transpired. I expect them to be a very inspired football team and just out-juice the Denver Broncos.
Each of these teams started 3-0. One of them will fall to 3-3. If Swagoo is right, it won't be the Raiders. Oh, it's good to be Marcus Spears these days, as the Cowboys are 4-1 and taking that record to New England to play the Patriots, who are 2-3. Swagoo, can the Cowboys make it 5-1 and hand the Patriots their fourth home loss already this season?
You damn right they can, and they will. I think it'll be fueled by a running game with Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard, and then allow Dak Prescott to kind of get Bill Belichick guys hugging up and then being able to take those shots. I got the Dallas Cowboys winning in New England, and the defense coming up with 1 or 2 turnovers and Diggs getting a pick.
The Cowboys have been, simply put, one of the most complete teams so far in the NFL this season, looking to make it 5 straight wins, one of which would be against the Patriots on the road. A streak will be over on Sunday night. Unfortunately, Russell Wilson's 149 straight starts comes to an end as the Seahawks travel to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers. Field Yates and Marcus Spears here to pick this week's sick matchup. Who do you got in Geno Smith against Big Ben?
I have the Pittsburgh Steelers, Phil, because I like the fact that they ran the ball and kept 50 throws off of Big Ben's arm last week. And I would think that that would be the same plan that they want to go in. Feature Najee Harris. He went for 122, had 20-plus carries, and had a successful day. And coincidentally, Ben Roethlisberger looked like he's a a starting level, high-level quarterback. He played well because he wasn't asked to carry this team on his back. The offensive line blocked well in the run game. Same formula to beat the Seattle Seahawks. And we don't need to mention the elephant in the room. Russell Wilson won't be playing.
That's right. No Russell Wilson for the Seahawks on Sunday. Their defense also has to find a way to get things going. They have just been a disaster so far this year. It's Monday Night Football, of course, on ESPN. Field Yates and Marcus Spears here to pick the matchup between the Tennessee Titans and perhaps the best team in football, the Buffalo Bills. Swagoo, who do you got in this one that's being played down in Nashville, Tennessee?
I'm taking Buffalo, Phil, and obviously we know what Josh Allen and this offense is doing, but I got to give a shout-out to Leslie Frazier and his defense. They held the Kansas City Chiefs to 20 points, had two takeaways in that game, and we all know that Derrick Henry has to be featured for the Titans. You get Derrick Henry limited, which is very hard to do, and you can win this game going away because this Buffalo Bills offense is as explosive as any in the NFL, if not the top explosive offense.
Yeah, the Bills right now leading the NFL in both points per game and points per game allowed. In terms of balance, perhaps no team is doing it better right now than Buffalo.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.